Our first stop of the day after we got on the underground and the one of the other trains that broke down, so we got out of Baker Street and took a cab here to Abbey Road Studios. George and Mark really want pictures here, so here we are. We're in the Abbey Road gift shop, and it's still an active recording studio, and it's been here for a while, since the 30s. This was the first purpose-built studio in England. Amy Winehouse, Cream, and Pink Floyd have recorded here amongst famous people. I'm not sure if I took this, but here is the famous crosswalk on the Abbey Road album that the Fab Four was crossing in different dress. John was Jesus, Ringo was the preacher, Paul was the dead man, and George was the gravedigger, is how the story goes. This is also St. John's Wood, which the Rolling Stones talked about in a song, which is escaping me now. I knew it a second ago, but this used to be a really ritzy part of the world to live in. So we're going to get back on the underground and we're going to start our tour to get off and on today instead of just riding around. I guess there's no escaping the NFL, even in Great Britain, as they're having a game over here soon. I think the Raiders played in it recently, within the last few years. The only people that go are American expats and servicemen. The English aren't all that fond of American football. And after we saw such exciting Scottish football live a few days ago, I wouldn't really want to be watching the NFL either. It's dull and slow. But when I'm home, I watch it, and Marie likes it, so what the hell. But here are the flags for the NFL. No escape. Here's another shot of Trafalgar Square from the bus that we're taking today. We are going to get off at places now that we have a little bit better lay of the land. Oop. And we are going to sightsee and take pictures and talk to people. So there you have it. These pret-a-manger is, they're everywhere. There's one right here. And then if you look over across the circle here, you see one right over there. And we've seen like 3 or 4 of them just driving around, so. Manger means to eat in French, according to George, and because he's been practicing on his Rosetta Stone software. I, however, have not. So we're going to trust his French when we get to France, especially rural France, where they might not speak English all that well. So here you go. We're on the Strand, where a lot of the theaters are. Like Funny Girl, for example, is playing in the Savoy. Like Bobby Savoy, the Bat Boy in The Natural. When Robert Redford says, "Pick me out a winner, Bobby," and he does. And the glorious happens, and Zeus shows himself to be true, and there you have it. Here we have the George, and upstairs at the George is the Pig and Goose restaurant. A public house and restaurant. There you go. Look at this sharp building right here. That is way cool. So there you have it. We're still, we haven't gotten off the bus yet. We are cruising. We're now on Fleet Street, which is the heart of the old British newspaper, or the London's press row, for example. I don't really see any of the papers here now. I think they've all, well, I think their printing is done out of the city center. It has to be because the land is too expensive. the Mercury News that did that back in the 60s. When I went to work there, I worked with guys who worked at the old plant downtown on St. Clair Street, and then we moved down to the place on Ritter Park until the changing of the industry, and now they print in Concord. Like so many of the papers here in London do, they don't print themselves, they contract out the printing to a print company. And that's how the Chronicle does it also. So there you go. Notice the ambulance motorbikes. Even in Britain, not a day goes by that you don't see UPS. Here's the George and Truman's, established in 1666, I guess after the fire. You can just see through the windows and stuff that we're approaching the Tower Bridge, at least the current rendition of the Tower Bridge. This is a truly internationally historical spot. We've crossed over the Tower Bridge, and this is the internationally known Tower of London. Now, back when it was built, this was a tower. Now, not so much, but hundreds and hundreds of years ago, this was a pretty big building. And some of the few splotches of grass that you see anywhere around here. So there you have it. Here's another shot of the Tower of London. And look at this. Now here's a guy mowing the lawn. You'd think he'd have a little yard tractor or something, but like Mark says, it's better for him to push the mower to keep himself in physical condition. So there you go. Personally, I'd be riding a lawn tractor, but that's why I'm a fat ass.
Plus these things cost a hell of a lot less.
That's true. All true. I know I just took a little shot of this yesterday, but now that we're actually on the Tower Bridge, we get a little bit nicer shot of the Thames. The British warship there is open for tours, the HMS Belfast. The bridge that we're standing on, the Tower Bridge, this is the 1894 version of the Tower Bridge. We have walked across the Tower Bridge, and here is the Tower of London from from across the Thames, and then a little bit nicer shot of the Tower Bridge. They talk about this being the most famous bridge in the world, but I don't know, the Golden Gate is awfully well known too. Our next stop after the 50 pence to use the loo, and they were clean too, finds us on London Bridge. This is about a 1970 version of London Bridge. The older version is in Lake Havasu City when Mr. McCullough bought the bridge at auction and had it shipped over to Lake Havasu, Arizona, where he had it rebuilt. And there's the Tower Bridge and the Tower of London on the left. You see the little circle that we walked? And here's our 360 with lots of British. We are on the Westminster Bridge, and here you're going to see a good shot of Parliament. Sadly, there's scaffolding and they're doing some renovation. And here's Shannon posing for her dad's picture. Here is a World War I memorial to the glorious dead. Right across from Parliament, we see Westminster Abbey. Now, this is not in the town of the city of London, but the city of Westminster. Westminster is only 1,000 years old. It's the new part of the city, and London, the city itself, is over 2,000 years old. Here's some other statues that we may or may not walk by, but here's one of Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Britain during World War II. We're walking the Buckingham Palace from, oh hell, I'm so tired, I can't even think of the last stop. Westminster Abbey. And we're watching these guys. I'm going to sit down across the street. We're going to watch the yelling and the ordering, and my ex-son sure needed this, and nobody but Maria and I believed me when I thought this is exactly what he needed. He turns out he's 37 years old, sponges off his mom, no focus in life, 3 children he can't support, and he didn't have a dad growing up. Let me tell you how I really feel about this. But this is what he needed, and I was sure of it, and I was right. This is the Queen Victoria Memorial. And the hill over here is Constitution Hill. I didn't realize that the British had a constitution, but they don't really have a Bill of Rights like we do. A little bit different. Our next stop finds us at Buckingham Palace, the home of the royal family. There isn't anyone standing right around me, so I could tell you guys I think this royalty and inherited royalty is a sham. I'm surprised that these English put up with it still. The royal family is a leech on the taxpayers, and they're independently billionaires themselves, outside of the money that the taxpayers spend on them. But hey, it's their decision. I'm glad we threw the yoke off of our necks of the royal family in 1776. I don't know what this statue is. I'm hoping to find out. We'll see, but we're here. Man, I'm beat today. My feet hurt and I'm hungry.